It's been 25 days since I had any food, and it finally happened. I know what you're thinking. No. I didn't eat something, but it's actually pretty interesting because I've been waiting for something to change since day 10. So what finally happened was I finally had a temptation to have some food. I've been very surprised that throughout this fast, the entire 25 days, I haven't really thought about wanting to eat any food. And from day 10 until today, it's just felt normal. Like, I felt like I was eating and everything was just, normal. So after I made yesterday's video, a few hours later, somehow the idea of M&Ms came to my mind, chocolate. And for whatever reason, I just felt like, I'd like to have some M&Ms. But do I really want M&Ms or do I not? Well, see, I'm a little bit confused because this is exposing some of the tricks the mind plays on you. So on the one hand, I still feel fine. I don't feel hungry at all. This is a purely mental game right now. Don't feel hungry, don't feel sick, don't feel irritable. Feel fine, good energy level, all that. But just somehow now, the idea of eating something is appealing, where for the past 25 days, I haven't really had a thought about eating anything. Part of the reason I think this is because my original goal was 21 days, and that was 4 days ago. So I met my original goal. Now, prior to the 21 days, I was so committed to doing the 21 days that there's not even room for food to enter the equation because, hey, I've got this specific goal. Now, after the day 21, now it's open-ended. I'm just going to go as long as I want to. And while the idea of eating food actually sounds appealing to me right now, that has shifted. So it actually does. It is a little tempting. I walked by a vending machine working overnight. It had M&Ms in it. I saw the M&Ms and said, "Ooh, that looks good." And I walked by that machine a few times and basically looked at those M&Ms. I considered buying them for about 1 second, like, "Ooh, I should just get them." And then I thought, well, maybe I'll just get them and have them for later. And I said, wait a minute, no. But here's the tricks that your mind plays on you when you're fasting. Once I had that thought of M&Ms, then I think this is seated in our habits, where the body just tried to show me videos of me eating M&Ms. Like when I started focus on like walking, around this building, or when I was working on some stuff on the website, when my mind got off of, like, I would have the thought, eat M&Ms, and I'd say, no, I don't want to do that. And then when I stopped paying attention, I started working on something else, my mind would just try to slip these images, like, it would just have me imagining eating M&Ms. Like, the mind would just show me a picture of the M&Ms going into my mouth and me chewing them. But this wasn't my thought, this is the mind kind of tricking me. Now, when I'm eating normally, I might not notice this, and I might misinterpret that as, I'm hungry, I want the M&Ms. But from this fasting process, I'm a lot stronger. My willpower is very high. So I can just see right through the body sort of playing that image for me. But this is a thought that the mind and the body, it's trying to keep this thought going. So why am I continuing the fast? I made my 21-day goal. It's now day 25, and my rules are there are no rules. If I want to stop the fast, I can stop the fast. If I wanted to, I could have the M&Ms theoretically, although I should probably break the fast more softly with some juices and work up to having those M&Ms over a few days. My appetite's gone, so I shouldn't be in a hurry to do that if I want to be careful. But now, how do I proceed now with this idea that, the food is starting to become more appealing and it hasn't been? Well, looking at the scale, I'm now 204 pounds. I was close to 240 when this started, so I've lost right around 35 pounds. I haven't haven't been under 200 in over a decade. So, if I'm 4 pounds away from 200 pounds, I'd like to at least continue going until I get under the 200 pound level. And my personal goal, more long term, is that once I go under 200, I want to stay under 200. So to do that, I really have to get down to about 190, because right now I have no food in my bowels. I mean, in my system, it's cleaned out. There's nothing in there. So, if I hit 199.9 and then I went and had a meal, I'm going to go right back over 200. So I really should take it down to about 190. So being so close to 200, it would be a shame to quit at 204 end the fast and then probably go back up to 210 or 212, and then take longer to get to 200. And the other factor is I'm on 25 days now. It would be nice to at least go 30 or possibly 40 or who knows, even 50. I still feel like I could keep going as long as I want to. It's just now a little more complicated because there is that idea that, wow, food, that looks kind of good. So I'm going to weigh that out. At some point, I am going to break the fast and have some food. But I do feel like this choice can take a long time to play out. I'm able to see these ideas with a body saying, and there was also a little bit of talk where the mind was throwing this at me. So as I'm driving around doing my patrols on my overnight job, the mind starts saying, well, hey, you made it 24 days. That's a really good job, having ended the fast after 24 days is really good. So the mind was sort of trying to talk me out of this. And it's just an interesting thing. Based on former habits, the mind just somehow, it's got these ideas and wants to roll with it. Now, I know from past experience as well, if I ignore those thoughts and don't feed into them, then they'll probably go away and I'll probably go back to just this happy fasting for a while. I'm not feeling any physical symptoms like I need to eat or like there's anything wrong. In fact, I feel just fine. And that's another reason why I don't want to end the fast. I feel so good. Why would I mess with my blood chemistry and everything? If I go and eat some foods that have some sugars in it, I'm going to reawaken my appetite, and then I'm going to be hungry again, and then I'm going to have more willpower that I need to deal with that hunger. If I get actually hungry, then I have to be more determined not to eat. I'm not hungry at all. So one of the rules when you're not hungry, don't eat. So I'm pretty determined to at least make it to day 30, and again, when I get to day 30, I will reevaluate and see where I'm at there and see if it continues to make sense. On the one hand, I do starting to feel, although in my mind 40 and 50 sound really good, it would be really cool, and I would love to have that story. I know I will do 40 days or 50 days in the future, but right now, is 30 enough? Part of me does feel like a sense of completion with having completed the 21-day goal, and now I've beaten my former fasting record of 21 days. Now I'm on day 25. At this point, it's so easy to continue to 30. I'm pretty determined to at least make it to 30, although I don't have to if I don't want to. That's the beauty of this. At day 30, I will see how I feel and what I want to do. And for you, if you're doing fasting, you can have this. It's a more complicated approach because if you put your mind to a certain number, then some ways that's easier. But it's also kind of nicer to have the freedom and just say, no, I'm choosing to do this. I want to do this because I feel good and I'm exercising my will. So that's the other fun way to do it. So there aren't any hard, fast rules. It's how are you choosing to live? So those are just some of the challenges that I've experienced today, and I'm so happy for that because I have to be honest, for the last 15 days it's just been so easy. I've wanted to have more to tell you. So when I mentioned having a temptation, just because you have the temptation or the thought doesn't mean you need to do it. A lot of times people hear the word I was tempted, and it almost implies that being tempted means you do the thing. Well, we have the power to choose whether we're tempted or not. How's your fasting going? What kind of temptations are you having? and how are you dealing with those? Leave a comment below. I read all the comments, and I love to hear your feedback. And I'll be back tomorrow for day 26 of my water fast, with hopefully some more changes and developments in this fasting process. Until then, howla!